Hey, this is Glendon with a tip: how to raise your resale game. I was on the phone this morning with a client. We were talking about some stuff, and this is one of my converts, so to speak, because this was a guy, he would pop up on YouTube, I'll never buy your products, blah, 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 and now he's a believer. But he was saying he's having trouble moving to the next level. And one of the things I like about consults is I get down to the real issues, because people will say, they'll ask me a question like, hey Glendon, how do I make $5,000? There are so many different ways to make $5,000. But what's missing is, how much capital do you have? What are your skill sets? Where are you in the country? What infrastructure? I mean, there's so many things that need to be answered before I can give a person a valid answer. And so many people don't get that, because they're just like, they want those magic jelly beans. And I'm telling you, there are no magic jelly beans anymore. They're gone. Some squirrels came by and took them. Sorry, fresh out. Anywho, we were talking, and I asked him some questions. I asked him a lot of questions, and we just kind of went through the whole deal. And then I asked him a really strange question that just came to me from the universe. It's like, do you buy quality shit? Just like that. And he's like, what do you mean? I mean, do you buy quality stuff? Are you a Walmart guy? Are you a Target guy? Have you ever bought anything at Macy's? And he was like, Macy's? Oh, God, no. That place is ridiculously expensive, blah, blah, blah. Going on and on and on. He says, I'm in Walmart. And I said, that's your problem. How can you expect to sell quality when you refuse to buy quality? And he was silent for a second. I was like, look, I understand people want a deal, but this is how the resale world works. People are looking to get a deal on something of quality. People will pay more for a used quality item than that same item brand new, because they know the quality is there. We have a marked movement back to quality because there's so much cheap shit out there. It's just ridiculous. I went through the march. I started off with an iMac with the i3 chip, bought it used on Craigslist. It still had the warranty. Flipped that, got the MacBook Pro. I worked my way up into a more quality computing system. Same with this camera that I'm using. This camera was $1,300. Now, there are some people that get all butthurt when I put out these prices, and I'm not putting these prices out to impress you. I'm just telling you that certain things cost money. You are not going to get the best of the best for the low all the time. Sometimes it works out like that. You'll buy a storage unit and it's just crammed full of quality stuff that you got for the low. But that is unrealistic to expect that to happen all the time. Sometimes you're going to have to pull out your wallet and pay top price to get top performance. And that is a problem with a lot of people who have a poverty mindset. And this is really a big lesson, because we were on the phone 2 hours this morning, and hopefully there was some revelations, because the deal is, the stuff that sells the fastest is quality stuff or rare stuff. Like, if I put this iMac right here, right now, on Craigslist for $800, chances it being gone before the end of the day are quite high. Because it's quality. People know what it is. And going with Apple and Porsche and BMW and Philip Patek and Rolex and Breitling and Omega, they put out quality products and ask a seriously, sometimes astronomical price for their products, and they get it because it's quality. Now, how does this help you as a reseller? Let me break it down for you so it's forever broken. You're going to have to leave your poverty mindset. You're going to have to start buying quality items for yourself. And I know you're going like, I don't want to spend the money, and this is going to do. Understand, this isn't for you. This isn't to floss. This isn't to brag. This is to teach you what quality looks like, feels like when you're out there in the field. Because if you don't know what quality is, you walk right past it. That you could get for the low, but because in your mind you're looking for quick, easy flip that you sometimes will leave some very valuable stuff on the curb because you don't know what quality is. Quality has a different feel, especially like with something like bikes. The difference between a bike that you get at Walmart and a Cannondale or a Trek, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's seriously, the storage auction business taught me a lot about bikes. And I remember the first time I came across a true quality bike, because just like you, I was a regular guy. I didn't really know anything about bikes. And I was in a unit and I picked up this bike and it was so light, it threw me because, I was getting ready to just like, because it was a big bike. And I could lift that bike with my finger. That's how light it was. And I was like, whoa. And when I went and looked up the price, I was like, oh my God. And then I just started looking with the pikes and the car. There's so many components to a bike that are very expensive because they're trying to reduce weight. Less weight, faster the bike goes, less fatigue on the rider. But it's quality. People want that. So for you to up your game, start buying quality stuff for yourself. One piece at a time. It's not going to break you. It's not going to break them. And then you start to know what quality is. You start to have a better feel for it because when you buy one quality item, it's going to teach you about 5 or 6 more because everything has accessories or something. Because you'll go to the expensive stores and look. And don't go up there with your nose up like, oh God, these people want all this money. You want to make a lot of money too. Stop hating. You cannot have riches if you hate on riches. And I see a lot of people doing that. It's like, oh God, it's too much money. Who are you to say it's too much money? If someone would pay you the same money for your service, you wouldn't go, you know what? That's too much money, buddy. Put 90% of those dollars back in your wallet and just give me the 10% because that's all it's worth. It's like, thank you. You're going to take the money. And I see a lot of communist, socialist stuff here on YouTube about terms of price. And you just got to change your mindset. So take my word for it. Learn about quality. Get a feel for it. Now, there are people out there that know quality because they've been in the resale game a long time. But let me tell you something. The number of people that are entering the resale game is at an all-time high. You have to have an additional edge in your game plan. It used to be if you were just halfway intelligent and you went out and you had $500, you could have built an empire. It's still doable, but it's not as easy as it was just 5 years ago because there's so many people. I was in the gym today and was talking to this guy and, everybody watches Storage Wars. And the first thing the guy's like, hey, is it fake? I'm like, yeah, it's fake. And then when we really got into it and he knew that I actually did the thing and bam, next thing you know, there's a crowd. And it's like, yeah, I'm thinking about getting in the resale game. All of them were saying, maybe a little hobby. So you really have to up your game. Buy quality items for yourself and go out there and research quality items. Drive quality cars. Go to high-end stores and look at the clothing. And when I say look at it, pick it up, run your fingers in the seams, and note the details. Because quality clothing of today, believe it or not, that used to be run-of-the-regular stuff back in the day because everything was handmade. So you get that different level of tailoring, and it makes a huge difference. Like in watches, oh my God, the mechanisms and the movements, a seriously quality movement made in 1880, if properly maintained, is still ticking and keeping proper time today because of that quality. And that's what people want. So you got to want it. So if you are a cheap Chuck or, you're a cheap Claire, you got to raise your game. And this is another mental thing that you haven't thought about. If you don't think that you would pay a certain price for a certain thing, it's going to be very hard for you to sell that item for a certain price. One of the reasons that I started taking webinars and seminars and paying a lot of money for them was I need to know what these other people are doing to charge that much so I would feel more comfortable about doing the same thing for my business. I had to spend money on a quality program, and everything that I've taken has been well worth it to really learn how to improve my programs and make my stuff better. I'm not just telling you this. I'm living this in my own. I'm living this in my life, in my business life, and it's working out wonderfully. So take that little tip, put it in your pocket, and remember, you don't have to break the bank. You can start with one piece, then work your way up. Because once you do this, it opens up new doors for you to make money. All right, this is Glendon, and as always, be sure to subscribe, like, share, and leave a smart ass comment.